Hi, this is Tyler with Seattle WebWorks. So if you're watching this video right now, that means you probably found us in Google and you're looking at search engine optimization as a method or marketing channel to reach some new customers for your business. So in this video, I'm just going to take a few minutes and kind of cover what SEO is, the goal of doing search engine optimization, and then also we're going to look at what actually creates rankings in Google, so you can get a better understanding of what we'd actually be doing for your company and why it's going to generate results. So SEO, what is it? It's the practice of motivating Google to rank your website more highly for relevant search terms with buyer intent. And the really one of the things to consider here is that SEO is not necessarily a direct form of advertising. It's really unique in that way where what we're essentially doing is motivating Google to advertise for you for free. And in that way, SEO creates really long-lasting results, because once we've done the work up front to generate the rankings, those rankings tend to stick really well. Once Google has determined that you're a great result for whatever service or keyword that you're trying to rank for, once they've determined that you are a good result to put there on the first page of their results, you tend to stick there for a really long time, and so that creates longevity in your marketing investment, and it makes SEO just very, very unique as a marketing channel. So the ultimate goal with SEO is to reach a segment of your ideal clientele who A, doesn't already know that you exist, they're unfamiliar with your brand, and then B, is actively looking for your services. They're actively on Google or other search engines searching for services that you provide. SEO is about positioning. What we intend to do is position the pages on your site so that when these people, your ideal clientele, when they make these searches in Google, they type in the keywords or the search phrases that relate directly to your services, they're able to find that web page, navigate to your site, learn about your business and your services, and then ultimately give you a call and become a paying customer. That's the goal of SEO. So let's take a look at kind of how this works. So if you imagine yourself, we're just going to look at one niche right now, and that would be the business of being an exterior painter. If you imagine yourself as an exterior painter, you might want to rank in Google for house painting related keywords like exterior painting in my city or interior painting in my city. So if we do a little bit of keyword research, what I typed in here to this particular keyword tool is the term house painter, and we can get some ideas here about how many people search for that per month. So what I'm looking at right now is just King County. This is just the greater Seattle area, essentially, in King County, and we can see that within King County, 1,000 to 10,000 people every single month search for home painting related keywords. All right. So, and then if we look at some of these other searches for painting contractors, there's another 1,000 there. Cost of painting, another 1 to 10,000. Painting services is another 1,000 or so. So, there's really just a ton of search volume for this, even just in King County. So if we just look at this one ad group right here, and we kind of get an average, which would be about 5,000 searches a month. We can use that number to get an idea of how much potential revenue there is for if you were to rank on the first page for this keyword. So we'll jump over to the calculator, and that search category was getting about 5,000 searches a month, between 1 and 10,000. So we'll say 5,000 searches a month on average. And if you were able to, out of that 5,000 searches, if you were able to grab just 10% of that, if you rank on the first page, especially the top of the first page, you should be getting about 30% if you rank at the top of the first page. But I would say, on average, 10% is a pretty reasonable amount to expect yourself to gather from that 5,000. You should expect to garner about 10% of that if you're just on the first page at all. So about 10% of 5,000 is 500 people who actually would navigate to your site. That's traffic to your site from Google. So out of that 500 people, if we imagine that 10% of those actually pick up the phone and give you a call, that's 50 calls coming in a month. And if you have the ability to close 50% of those people, so we'll do 50% right there. So 50% of the people who actually give you a call turn into paying customers. That's an additional 25 customers every single month. Now we can go over here to Home Advisor, and Home Advisor can give us a good idea to the amount of money, the average revenue generated from one of these jobs. And they're saying that most homeowners spend between $1,700 and $3,700 for an exterior painting job. And so we'll just divide that right down the middle and say $2,700 for the average revenue generated by one of these jobs. So 25, multiply that by 2,700 per job, and we get $67,500 per month. That's additional revenue just from your first paid search rankings. And once we've generated those search rankings and you're generating that revenue every single month from the traffic coming into your site, we can multiply that by 12 months. And we're looking at $800,000, over $750,000 a year in additional revenue just from coming from Google search, coming from Google search rankings. That doesn't even include Bing and Yahoo search rankings, and that doesn't even include all the other services that you could potentially rank for as a painter. If you provide other home repair type services, interior painting, there's always also commercial painting, residential painting. Those are all search phrases or search categories that we could target. This is just looking at exterior painting jobs. So there's a lot more than that even available. So if this was our goal and we said, okay, we want to target this keyword group, and we're looking at our potential revenue is about $750,000 a year, what would we actually do to generate those rankings? What's Google actually looking for? And I'll tell you that it's actually really easy to show. I think a lot of SEO companies try to make SEO out to be a lot more complex than it is. The strategies involved are pretty complex, but the basic fundamentals of what generates rankings are really common sense. Really, it just comes down to relevance and authority. That's all Google looks for. They just look for those two factors, relevance and authority. When I say relevance, what I'm speaking to is the content that's on each of the pages of your site. So if there's a searcher and they type in exterior painter Seattle, Google's not going to show pages about painting services. They're not going to show pages about commercial painting, or they're not going to show pages about exterior painting in Chicago. They're going to show pages that are exactly about that search query, which is exterior painter Seattle. And I can prove that just by looking at the search results here on the first page. So if we look at the top guy here, this is porch.com, and we look for our keywords, we've got the word exterior house painting, Seattle, Washington, right there. It's in the description. Seattle's best rated painters. We look at this one right here, exterior house painting in Seattle. That's pretty much exactly what we typed in, exterior painter Seattle. It's right there in the title. And in the URL too, look at the URL, exterior house painting Seattle. This one right here, we've got Seattle exterior painters. That's pretty much exactly what we typed in. Sound painting solutions, quality Seattle painters, and then exterior painting right there. This one right here, we've got painting both exterior and interior in Seattle. Painting contractors, that's exactly about exterior painting Seattle. Seattle house painters is a Seattle residential. I'm sure it says and exterior. Yeah, right there, exterior painting Seattle painting. So that's our keywords. So I think you're noticing this trend where if we look at each of these pages aren't about painting services. They're not about painting in general. They're about exterior painters in Seattle. That's exact keyword, and that's exactly what these pages are about. They're not kind of about that. They're exactly about that. And so, that shows Google that these pages are very, very relevant to the search term, and they're probably going to be a great result for the searcher, because that's what Google's trying to do. They're trying to show the best possible results, the most relevant results to the searcher, because that's going to keep the searcher coming back over and over again and continuing to use Google as a search engine. Now, something also to consider, though, is there's 584,000 potential results here, and Google is only showing the top 10. And I can guarantee you that if we continued on to page 2, 3, 4, we're going to see a lot more pages about exterior painters in Seattle. So how does Google choose these 10 pages that are exactly about that compared to the other, hundreds of pages in these search results that are exactly about that as well? Well, that comes down to the authority factor. I told you that there's two main factors, relevance and authority. Authority is also pretty common sense. How Google determines if content on a page is quality is by looking at the other websites out there on the internet that link to that content. So if you imagine like a Forbes.com, Forbes is obviously a very authoritative publication. And if Forbes was able to link in an article about exterior painting over to All Pro Painting, for example, if they linked over to All Pro Painting, Google would be able to say, well, Forbes is authoritative and they're writing about exterior painting, linking over to this other page about exterior painting. Therefore, this other page must be authoritative as well. That's the logic behind it. And the more high quality links, backlinks that you have pointed at your website, the better you're going to rank in general. All right. So what we can do here is just do a couple comparisons so I can prove that this is true. So if we use All Pro Painting here and we throw this into one of our link analysis tools, there's lots of tools like this, but this particular one is giving us some data about the number and the quantity and the quality of links pointing at allpropainting.com. And one of the things I want you to look at here is this trust flow number. This trust flow number has been shown to be a very, very quality indicator of a web page's ability to rank in Google and garner search traffic. And they've got a trust flow of 26, which is fairly high. And then we can look at the number of referring domains and the number of backlinks they have too. So if we see trust flow of 26, 25 referring domains, 64 backlinks, this kind of sets a benchmark. These guys are ranked on the first page. And for this particular keyword, which is Seattle exterior painter, this is one of the strongest sites that Google can find. Now I went ahead and went over to the fourth page as well, and I just grabbed just a random guy off the fourth page. We've got avpainting.com, and you'll see that they're also very, very well optimized for that keyword. It says Seattle exterior painting right there, so they're very well optimized for that. Google finds this as a very relevant result for this keyword. However, if we look at the links pointing at this site, avpainting.com, we can see they have 0 trust flow, only 1 referring domain, and only 1 external backlink. That means that they just really don't have much going on. Google's going to look at the content on this page and say, this is about exterior painting in Seattle, but nobody's linking to it. Nobody's really talking about it. Therefore, it must not be that important. And that's how Google thinks. And that's how it determines what ranks on the first page. There's also other factors as well. There's lots of factors that will influence rankings here and there, lots of filters that Google has put into place over time, but 99% of it comes down to those 2 factors, relevance and authority. So in a search engine optimization campaign, essentially what we'd be doing is keyword research, like I showed you in the beginning. We want to determine who is searching for your products and services. And we want to make sure that the content on your pages is highly relevant for those products and services. There's lots of strategies that we use to do this, to crawl your site, do the keyword research, and make sure there's a clear match. And Google can clearly and easily determine that match between your pages and search terms that your ideal client is searching for. After that, we move into an authority building portion of the project where we're working on building out the power of your website so that Google just pays more attention to the content that's there. And that's going to benefit your site long-term, not just while we're working together, but even years and years after the project is over. So that's one of the huge benefits of SEO as compared to other forms of search engine marketing like PPC. With pay-per-click, you're paying for every single click. So when you stop paying, the clicks go away and the traffic stops. With SEO, you're putting in money to motivate Google. Once you're motivating them to rank you, the rankings tend to stick for a very, very long time. So anyway, I hope this video has been really valuable for you. Definitely scroll through the rest of our site. You can see some testimonials on here and learn more about the services that we offer. If you'd like to learn more, feel free to give us a call or go ahead and navigate over to our discovery form. And if you fill that out, that's going to give us a bunch of information about what you're looking to accomplish and allow us to put together a very, very accurate quote for you so that we can provide a service that's going to generate results for you. All right, I'll talk to you later. Thanks.